Hi everyone, welcome to the 2018 Be Ready training for Kids Central. This is our yearly safety and security training. I'm Brittany Miller, the Children's Director, and let's get started. So, I'd like you to think, what comes to your mind when you think of bees? At our training, we had a lot of different answers, ranging from Justin Fast to industry to dancing, all sorts of things. So what comes to your mind when you think of bees? This is a little bit of what I think of, just learning about bees a little bit over the course of this year. And I promise you, I did choose this theme, bees, before Barnaby Bee moved into the neighborhood. And if you don't know who Barnaby Bee is, then you're probably not reading your bulletins. So what I think about bees are they're an example of what working together for the common good can be. Through bees, you see how they are stronger together. Their teamwork produces a golden treasure in honey, and they are industrious. So I think that about all of the volunteers who are working at Kids Central right now. We are clearly stronger together. Our team produces a golden treasure in children, which we don't always get to see the full reward of what that's going to look like, because obviously we're not there when they're totally grown up and they're going to college and things, but we can see weekly rewards as the kids are growing. And we are few, but we are mighty. We are industrious. I really truly believe that there is not a harder working group of people in the church than the children's ministry department. So be encouraged. You are like a hive. We are like a hive. Together we are stronger. We're working together and we are making a difference. So just as our bodies have many parts and each part has its special function, so it is with Christ's body. We are many parts of one body and we all belong to each other. In His grace, God has given us different gifts for doing certain things well. So if God has given you the ability to prophesy, speak out with as much faith as God has given you. If your gift is serving others, serve them well. If you're a teacher, teach well. If it is your gift to encourage others, be encouraging. If it is giving, give generously. If God has given you leadership ability, take the responsibility seriously. And if you have a gift for showing kindness to others, do it gladly. When I think of the many people who are part of children's ministry at Central, I see all sorts of gifts, just various really needed gifts. And some of them are so behind the scenes and other people don't necessarily see them all the time. I am so thankful for all of your gifts. I'm so thankful that you've joined this team. And I just hope that you're really encouraging each other to use your gifts, just as I'm hoping that I'm encouraging you to use your gifts. So taking it to just jumping right in, talking about vision, policies, and safety tonight. First of all, the big picture. If you go down to the down bar or the description bar, I will try to link to our core values so that you can download that. You probably have a copy. If you've gotten your handbook, then there's a copy in there. If you don't have a handbook, please let me know because I'd like to get you one so you can check it out. I'll try to link the handbook down below as well. Everything that we're going to talk about tonight comes from the handbook. So the big picture of Central is that we believe children's ministry is one of the most important ministries in our churches. Staff and volunteers aim that each child who participates in our programs knows that they are safe, they are loved by us, and they are loved by God. The purpose of our ministry is to support and assist families in building a spiritual foundation for their children. We do this through this set of core values, which I pray is reflected in each activity, every special event. Our programming, our teaching methods, the curriculum, it all may be different from year to year, but these core values are constant. They're not changing. Each one is thoroughly understood by the staff, and it was prayed upon and decided upon by the staff. So all the decisions that I make, or that Pastor Joanna or Pastor Eric and I together make about children's ministry, go through this prayerfully considered lens of our values. So the very first core value that we have is belonging. We want to foster a sense of belonging and understanding for each child's unique role in the body of Christ. The very first thing that the Board of Administration said when I came here was that they wanted kids to know that they belong to Jesus and they're part of the body right now as they are. Our second value is growth. We seek to promote spiritual growth and transformation of the children. And that's also our third one, is transformation. So because of those things, our teaching is Christ-centered, Bible-saturated. We are existing for the glory of God to make His greatness known through serving children and their families. So everything that we do is run through the lens of belonging, growth, and transformation. If you would like to hear more about our ministry goals, these are the 3 goals, and the objectives through which we complete those goals. Go ahead and download that file of our core values, because it will talk about how do we help our goals align with our values, and how do we help our objectives, happen so that we can achieve our goals. The next thing I want to touch on is the child interaction policy. Again, this will be in the description, linked, or you can also find it in your handbook. I'd just like to touch on a couple of things about safety and security. So, in our child interaction policy, which every volunteer has signed and every volunteer has undergone a background check, there are a set of 5 non-negotiables. So one of the first thing is that all of our volunteers who work directly with children or directly with the teens, because we're considering anyone who's 18 and under who is coming to our programs, those are children. Everyone will be screened and approved by the children's ministry director or one of our pastors before they begin any of the work or ministry with the youth. You have all have your background checks. If you haven't had your background check, please let me know. I am pretty sure, like 99.9% positive that everyone has, but we are still making sure that we are background checking, and we're renewing that every 3 years. Our second thing of this non-negotiable is that there will be random checks. At any time, you should operate that anyone could walk in at any time by church leaders or ministry leaders, especially if you are in a remote place in the church. Just know that someone will walk in and check on you. Our third non-negotiable is that when at all possible, adult workers should use the 2-adult rule, which means that an adult should not be alone with children or youth without a second adult present. There are some exceptions to this. Obviously, it's hard to make that happen at all times, but as best you can, keep 2 adults or an adult and a teen who is working as a volunteer, so that you're not alone with children. And if you know that there's a time, like say that you've arranged to pick someone up, that's totally okay. Maybe you're alone with them for like 2 minutes or something. It obviously is ideal to have somebody else there with you, but if it is completely unavoidable, all I ask is that you please let one of the pastors know, or let me know that that is going to happen, that you know it's going to happen, or that it did happen, because we want to be extremely transparent about what's going on. Just in the world that we live in, we have to be absolutely above reproach. And the way that we do that is by keeping everybody informed, being really, really open. Our fourth non-negotiable is that all adult volunteers should immediately report any behavior that you observe that is abusive or inappropriate to me, Pastor Eric, or Pastor Joanna. We will help you figure out if that is something with reporting that you need to actually report to someone beyond us, but I'll touch on that a little bit later. So the last non-negotiable of our child interaction policy is that anyone who has been convicted of sexual or physical abuse related crimes will absolutely not be participating or working with children in any capacity at our church. We stand really firm on that policy, just again to show the transparency that we are protecting children. Okay, a little bit about volunteer supervision. Like I said before, there will be random check-ins at your activities. We ask you to try to leave doors open, just provide sight lines. Obviously in the nursery, it's a little bit different of a situation because we do want the doors closed, which is because we would like to minimize the ways that people can go in and out, therefore giving more security. But expect that somebody will be popping in and checking in on you. If there's something like say that you have your Sunday school class and you would like to have them meet in a different area, please talk to me before you do that, because it is not safe to all of a sudden take children away and maybe a parent is coming back to pick them up and they're not there and we don't know where they've gone. That's not cool. Again, observing the 2-adult rule when possible so that there's not a chance that somebody is alone with children and something might happen. Exceptions to that team approach can be taken in low risk situations. Like say, for instance, the class needs one teacher, and then there's another person who's standing out like in the middle of I'm thinking of downstairs in the basement. There's one teacher in each room, but then there's someone out in the middle of the area who is supervising the whole area. That's totally fine because they are walking in unannounced. They are checking on you. You can have your doors open. There's just access, and that is transparency. When you have a situation where you're going to the bathroom, we'll talk about that later. Again, we're trying to avoid I don't know what the word is. Let me think. Think. We're trying to avoid the appearance of impropriety. Probably it's not happening, sure. But we're going to make it so that we're just extremely transparent so that people can't say, oh, well, this was really fishy. Like, we don't want there to be anything that was fishy. Occasionally, there might be a time where we decide, okay, we're going to go away from the church building. We're going to go to the park. We're going to do something. We are really trying to take additional care to ensure the proper environment. Looking for ways that we can make things as appropriate as possible. And if we are going to leave the property at all, kids must have a signed activity participation agreement. Parents and guardians need to know where their kids and their youth are. They need to know who's going to be taking care of them. There should not be last-minute changes in plans that would cause children to go somewhere or do something that their parents are not expecting, because that's not safe. All right, bear with me here. We're to reporting in response to allegations. So, although you are not a mandated reporter legally, we are asking that if you observe something that you would consider inappropriate or abusive, this can be child to child, parent to child, worker to child, worker to worker, anything like that. We are asking that you immediately report that to either Pastor Joanna, Pastor Eric, or to me. Obviously, if it is something that is involving me, if it's involving Eric, if it's involving Joanna, whatever, go to the opposite person. And they can help you figure out exactly what was going on. So an example of this might be you've noticed bruises consistently on one of the kids. That would be cause for suspicion, especially face bruises or something. That kind of a situation, there's no immediate threat necessarily, so you just go and talk to us as soon as possible and we'll help you figure out what the course of action is. So this is where it gets a little bit confusing sometimes for people. So say that you witness something and you come to me. I am not the one who is going to be submitting a report. You are the person who witnessed it, so you will be reporting. I can help you, but I can't write the report for you. I can't do that for you because I didn't witness it. So don't be afraid to come and talk to me if something is going on. We want to know about that. I would much rather find out ahead of time, like this person is going to be reported or this thing happened, so that I'm not blindsided when all of a sudden, CPS is talking to one of my families or one of our families. So yeah, just please come and talk to me about it. If there's something like you see an older teen really just close fist hit their younger sibling, Obviously, please try to step in and stop it, eliminate the risk that's happening there. But at the same time, also be safe yourself. Don't jump in the way of two teens who are fighting. Just use common sense, be safe. And then please separate them. If there's an altercation going on, get the security team, call on your radio, let people know what's going on, and then we can figure out exactly what will happen, based on whatever the offense it was. If it's something that's reportable, if it's not something reportable, we'll figure out what the inappropriate behavior is. So we need to try to gather as much information as possible. We need to stick to facts when we're responding to an allegation, and we need to do it quickly. So please report within 24 hours. If something happens on a Sunday, let me know by Monday what's going on. And then also, if it's something with a person who is serving as a volunteer or one of the staff members, that person isn't going to be in the area until we have figured out for sure what is going on. If there's any danger to kids, we want to eliminate it. So they wouldn't be asked, or they'd be asked to not come for their next service until it's resolved. All right, we're going to move a little bit towards general safety and security, which you can find in your handbook. Again, I will try to link that down below so that you have access. Our desire is to draw people to Jesus, which includes the very youngest to the very oldest in the church, and we want to take our responsibility really seriously. So these guidelines for safety and security are intended to provide safe and nurturing environments where kids can come and grow their relationship with Jesus. For check-in and check-out, our check-in policy is that children will be checked in by an adult, a parent, or a guardian. The exception to this is that, yes, kids come on the bus every week, and we have tried and are going to continue to try to limit that as much as possible to school-age children. So that would be generally like kindergarten and up. They might not have a parent there who is going to check them in. So they would be checking themselves into the elementary area, and I would be assuming responsibility, or whoever is over that area for the day assumes responsibility for those children. And then in the nursery, if there's someone who's checking in who does not have a parent or guardian or an adult sibling, because that happens sometimes, then we need to figure out what's going on and why they're here without their parents. So I would ask you to check in with the security desk. They could probably check in with me. We might check in with the bus driver, but don't have them checked necessarily into the area. So again, for nursery, there should be no time when a child is coming without a parent, guardian, or an 18-year-old sibling who will need to check them in. Elementary check-in is okay for kids who are school-aged without their parents. Youth can drop their siblings off. They just need to provide a phone number that their parent can be reached at, and we would need to confirm with them that their parent is on site. So for check-out, we have had a lot of times where teens are trying to check out their younger siblings. This is okay, as long as they have in the nursery their wristband that has the right number. That needs to be returned. They can hand that to whoever to check out the person or the child, but they need to have that wristband, I guess you'd call it. If they don't, so say a child comes or a youth comes to check out their younger sibling, and they don't have the band, you would ask them to go find the person who checked them in and get the wristband from them or bring them back to them. There really shouldn't be a time when in nursery you can't check out to the adult. Downstairs, I handle checkouts, so you don't need to worry about that. All right, moving on. Bathrooms. So we would like you to accompany children to a bathroom, especially if they are going to be using one of the public bathrooms that have multiple stalls. Please check the restroom before the child goes in there to use the facility. It was very unsafe and icky for a child to go in by themselves and there be another adult in there. Also kind of overwhelming for the adult when a whole crowd of children runs in. So we'd like you to stand outside the door, prop it open with a hand or foot, listen to the child, but not going in the stalls with them. For non-nursery age children who need special assistance with clothing or help in the bathroom, ideally be assisted by 2 adults of the same sex as them. If one must provide assistance, or if the same child needs assistance from time to time, we'd like to rotate out who is helping them, so that, again, there's no, it doesn't look like it's improper at all, and it isn't improper. Volunteers should only help them using the restroom if they're 3 years old or younger, and you can prop it open. Another unrelated adult is present. You know what's going on. So please, please never be alone with a child in the stall of a restroom with the door closed. An example of the 2 volunteer rule. I'm going to call it 2 volunteer because sometimes our teens are volunteering for us and they would count to this. Again, we expect you to take a team approach when possible. There are some times I know that this is not possible, but please get it approved before you are just alone with children. Some examples of appropriate touch would be an arm around a shoulder, walking hand in hand, carrying small children, having them sit in your lap, giving a greeting hug or a congratulatory hug, patting them on the back, rubbing their back, handshakes, high fives. Totally good. Just please try to maintain appropriate interactions. Inappropriate touch would be touching them in anger or disgust, anything that could be sexually suggestive, any touch between belly button and shin, or touching private parts, with the exception of obviously diaper changes. Another thing that I thought of was that some of the children absolutely hug them, greet them, let them know that they're safe and loved and that you're excited to have them here and everything. But they should not be kissing you. You should not be kissing them, especially on the lips. That's just icky and gross, and you never know what kind of germs you're transferring. So if they must kiss you, quickly on the cheek, but they really shouldn't, and you can hug without kissing, please. Let's move on to social media. So you are welcome to take photos and videos of kids. If you are going to post anything on social media, we ask you to abide by these rules. So I would really prefer that you ask me before you post anything, because you don't know necessarily which child does or does not have a media release, and which kid it's okay at this point. I don't have any children who it's not okay to post. But again, it's just safer to ask me before you go ahead and do anything. The second thing is that I ask that you wait to post. Never post a child on any social media while they are on the premise. This is so unsafe. It would give out the location of a child. It invites people. And just protect the location and sensitive information of kids. You should never, ever attach a name unless I have told you it's okay. 9 times out of 10, there's no reason to post a person's name. Again, protect their identity. I cannot think of an example of when it is okay. So just don't attach their name. Don't attach their location. If you have a question about whether something is okay or not to post, err on the side of not posting. You don't need to, in doubt, protect the children, don't post about it. Just a little bit about ratios. I want to give you an example of how many workers to children. So because we have such a large age range of children, these are the ratios that we are trying to have in our areas. So in the nursery, we're trying to have 1 volunteer to every 3 to 5 children. If this isn't being met, so say you have way more kids than that ratio, that's when it's time to call somebody on the system. So put the 99 in, and a trained nursery volunteer should appear. For elementary, it's 8 to 10 per one person. So conceivably, one person could have 10 kids, and a second person could make it up to 20. And these are the general ratios per adult, per teen, in the case of the nursery, that we are striving for. Obviously, it takes more people when there are very, very small children, and it takes less people when children are older and they can follow instructions. A couple of things about emergency procedures. For medical concerns, obviously immediately report this to a security team member. Use your walkie-talkie, let them know what's going on. If you are in the elementary area, let me know what's going on immediately. And remain calm, minimize whatever risk is going on, keep the other children calm, but the safety and security persons, or I will come down and help you make decisions about what needs to be done. I would like to specifically touch about seizures. There are many types of seizures. Some may just look like a person staring off for a moment, being distracted, or the seizure may be what's called tonic-clonic. It used to be called grand mal. It looks more like falling, shaking, jerking, losing awareness, fainting, that kind of a thing. So for any type of a seizure, please stay with the person until it ends or till they're fully awake. You would send someone else to get the security person to take care of the other children, or you would call on your radio while it's happening, staying completely calm, please. Comforting the person, speaking calmly, letting them know what happened. Keep yourself calm, keep others calm, and then send somebody else to radio for the children's director, for a staff member, for someone of the security team who will find the parent or guardian, let them know what's going on. But all you need to do is stay with the child, keep them calm, and notify someone. For a tonic-clonic seizure, which I would like to touch on because we do have one child in the elementary department who has tonic-clonic seizures. This is what you're going to do. So you're going to want to ease them to the floor. You're going to turn them gently onto one side to help them breathe. Clear the area around them so that they can move freely. You may want to put something like a folded jacket or a blanket underneath their head. Take their eyeglasses off, loosen their ties, anything around their neck to make it hard to breathe. Stay calm, keep others calm. Notify someone on the security team. And if you have the presence of mind, though, I would be happy with just stay calm and stay with them. Then you can time the seizure. If a seizure lasts more than 5 minutes, we need to immediately have medical staff on, or medical team on site, because that's really serious. But again, I just so be happy if you would stay with them, be calm, calmly explain what's happening, keep the other children calm. So things you should not do would be holding them down or restraining them in any way that can actually prevent, or that can actually cause a lot more injury. Don't put anything in their mouth. It was a myth that they might swallow their tongue. This is not true. They cannot swallow their tongue. If you put something in their mouth, it's liable to injure their teeth or their jaw, so don't do that. Please do not try to give them out to the mouth. Don't give CPR. People very, very commonly start breathing on their own after a seizure. And then please do not offer them food or water until they are fully alert. If you have any questions about seizures, let me know, because I know it's kind of a scary topic, but in all of these situations with emergencies, staying calm is absolutely key. All right, so fire, a different kind of emergency. The first priority in case of a fire is always children's and volunteers' safety. Please do not attempt to put out any fire. I would go so far as to say it is absolutely forbidden for you to try to put out a fire. In the event of a fire, the alarm will sound. I ask you to lead children as calmly from the building as possible, not going over any fire barriers, but taking whatever route is the safest out to the parking lot. And I'm talking about not the parking lot directly behind the church, but the lower parking lot behind the 820 building. just getting them further away. If you have presence of mind, upstairs in the nursery, grab the clipboard. Downstairs, grab the clipboard. This way you can start checking children in when you get to the meeting spot and making sure you have all of the children. Please stay calm, and stress this to the children. Stay calm, absolutely no talking, absolutely no running. Follow the volunteer, take them to the parking lot, and then start accounting for children. In case of a missing child, please notify the children's director, me, or also the security team as soon as possible. They will direct the search for a child. We should all remain extremely calm and rational while we're searching for children, and the security team is going to head all of those decisions. So all you need to do is let them know who is missing when you noticed all those details, and they'll take care of it. We are working right now on our emergency procedures and our policies for if there is a safety threat, if there would be an active shooter. Our plan right now, until we 100% get that in place with the security team, is that you are going to say you're in the area, you're going to be alerted, or you're going to alert that there is a threat. Get on your walkie-talkies, listen to your walkie-talkies. There's an emergency button on the side. And then that will send the emergency signal to the security team, and they will come and find you because they can tell which radio is ringing that. So alert. Then you are going to lock down the area, close the doors, close the windows, get the kids into a corner of a room. If you have to, if someone comes through the door, you're going to fight them as hard as you can, throw stuff at them, have all the kids throw things at them, giving you an opportunity to try to take them down, to neutralize a threat. And if at all possible, you're immediately going to get the kids out. If you can, get them outside, get them into the parking lot. If you can't, lock them down. And then when you are able to, evacuate later. Again, that's just like a temporary plan that we have in place right now, with something coming in the future. All right. Do you need a bit of a stretch? Just put your arms right up to the ceiling, put them down to the floor, roll your shoulders, roll your neck, get stretched out. Let's talk about Sundays at Kids Central. Check-in begins at 9:30 a.m. in both areas, nursery and lower level. This means that I'm asking you to please be there 15 minutes before check-in begins, 10 minutes before check-in begins. Allow yourself time to do it well and do it properly and not be rushed and not feel like you don't know what's going on. So for nursery sign-in, this is kids at ages infant through 3-year-olds or 4-year-olds who aren't in preschool. Kids downstairs are going to be preschoolers through 5th grade, age 11, somewhere around there. It's a little bit hard with our kids to know who goes where, so in your check-in areas, there is a list of regular attending children provided. So after we've gone through Sunday school, at 10:45, there's a sign-in and sign-out time. Children's church weeks, we will transition upstairs at 10:45. The weeks that there's not children's church, we go upstairs. Children's church is 2nd and 4th Sundays. And so 1st and 3rd, we would be going upstairs. This month is a little funny. We are going to have children's church on the 9th, 16th, and 30th. This is because we have the bishop visiting, so we want kids to be able to see him. And then at noon is sign out and closing of area. I'm asking this year that we try to be really conscious of tidying our areas and resetting for the next group that comes in. We've put a lot of work into the nursery and to the elementary area to make it really nice. And I'd like to just encourage a high standard of cleanliness for the areas. If you know that there are crumbs somewhere from some kind of a snack, please let me know. We want to try to vacuum that up so it doesn't get ground into the carpet, or say you had a Play-Doh explosion. Just let me know of that sort of stuff. If there's a problem, if there were problems with the kids and I don't know about it, please let me know. I want to be able to talk to them and talk to their parents, especially if it's something kind of serious. If there's something broken in the area, like for instance, I know there was a chair and the cash register got broken in the nursery. please let me know. If it's something the kids really love, I'm going to try to replace it as best I can. But I'm hoping that through tidying and resetting and modeling that for the other groups that are using our church, that we will try to minimize the amount of mess and brokenness and all that sort of stuff that we have. Where can you find area procedures? So for the nursery, there are procedures for check-in, check-out in the area beside the sign-in desk on the bookshelf. Also up in both rooms are a suggested schedule for the day, some suggested activities, and suggested songs that you can use to kind of frame your time in the nursery. In the lower level for the elementary, the area procedures are on the side of the sign-in desk in rainbow folders, and you can find the emergency procedures, you can find the kid list, all that sort of stuff downstairs on the side of the sign-in desk. That is the end of all of our talk through, and now let's review. I have a game for you to play, but I know that you can't necessarily do that from where you are, so I'm going to play it for you. You just play along and you know what answers you're choosing. So let me get that set up. Where's my Kahoot? There we go. All right, here we go. Are you ready for our review game? The best song we sing at Kids Central is This Is the Day, Siku Nihi, Not Alone, Yesu ni Wangu, or Jesus Loves Me. Bit of a trick question, isn't it? At the training, everyone said Siku Nihi, This Is the Day, and also Jesus Loves Me. But there isn't really a right answer to this one. One of the core values of Kids Central is service, gospel teaching, belonging, or narwhals. What is the answer? Could be narwhals. It is belonging. Belonging, growth, and transformation. Next question. Sunday morning sign-in begins at what time? 9:30, 9:45, 9 o'clock, or 9:15? What is the answer? It is 9:30 in the morning, which means you need to be there before if you are on that 9:30 shift. Next question. At least how many volunteers should be present if there are 10 elementary kids in the room? This goes back to ratios. Is it 4, 3, 2, or 1? How many volunteers should be present if there are 10 kids? It is 2. Yes, kind of a trick question. Sure, the ratio is 1 to 8 to 10 kids, but the 2 adult rule, we need to have 2 people there. Next question. Which is not a true statement? It is okay to post It's okay to post photos of kids while they're at church. It is okay to post photos of kids without naming them. It isn't okay to post photos of kids with no forms on file, or it isn't okay to post identifying info about the kids. Which one of these is not a true statement? So the not true statement is that it's okay to post photos of kids while they are at the church. Remember, we are not giving out their location. The first priority in case of fire is what? Putting it out ASAP. Get everyone out ASAP. Roasting marshmallows, duh. Safety of kids and volunteers. It is the safety of kids and volunteers, although I have to say I do love marshmallows. Next question. Kids are not allowed to attend programs for all of the following reasons except, this is kind of a trick one, we didn't talk about this, grumpiness, no parent or age present, or under school age, unexplained rash, or fever. Grumpiness. Obviously, we can't keep you out if you're grumpy. That would mean a lot of the adults probably couldn't come. Next question. An example of inappropriate touch is high fives and handshakes, touching a child to discipline them, greeting hugs, or an arm around a shoulder. What is inappropriate? It is touching a child to discipline them. I know sometimes it sounds crazy to think that someone might actually try to, would hurt a child trying to discipline them. But sometimes they just make you so mad and you just want to shake them. And even the most sane person might do this. But that is so wrong, so scary. Please keep your touching appropriate. Next question. Something you should do when a child has a tonic-clonic seizure is put something in their mouth so they don't swallow their tongue, give mouth-to-mouth breaths and start CPR, offer them food and water immediately after they come to, or the right answer, turn the person gently on one side. That allows for breathing. The other three things you should absolutely not do. Last question. Which is the best place to volunteer at Central? Nursery all the way. Kids Sunday School, rocks, children's church, or I'll go where they have the strongest coffee. I'll accept any of these answers. Anywhere where the kids are is the best place to volunteer, though I do love coffee. So, how did you do? I didn't do very well, as I keep forgetting to answer my questions, but I hope that you did pretty well on that. You can feel free to comment and let me know how you did. That concludes our training. I do ask that you let me know that you watched this. I'm going to have you sign a statement that said that you did by the date that you did it, just so I have it on file, know for sure that you have had your safety and security training. If you have any questions, let me know. Feel free to text me, call the church office, that's 517-485-2232, or go ahead and email me at office@centralfreemethodist.org, or you can use my personal one, brittney.miller@gmail.com. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, ideas, anything that you would like to know, and plan on having another kind of more like a group hangout, but we're going to be able to talk about the kids a little bit. That'll be coming in about 2 months, so keep that on your radar. All right, awesome. Thank you for being here and listening, and thank you so much for volunteering at Kids Central. You are awesome, and I will see you later. Bye.